Hello and welcome to the special weekly show called Diaspora Diamonds, which is our salute to over 32 million strong Indian diaspora present in over 200 countries worldwide. I'm Gautam Roy. The show launched the same day, same time earlier this year, around the time the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Samman convention was held in Madhya Pradesh's Indore city. PBD provides a platform for the overseas Indian community to engage with the government and the people of India and share their experiences and insights. It also helps strengthen ties between India and the global Indian diaspora and to recognize the achievements and contributions of Indians living abroad. The Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards are an integral part of the biennial event and are conferred by the President of India upon members of the Indian diaspora who've made exceptional contribution in their chosen fields and have acted as India's ambassadors abroad. Our guest this week is one such awardee this year. Chandrakant Babubhai Patel, recipient Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award and CMD, Asian Business Publication Limited. Welcome to Diaspora Diamonds, Mr. Patel, or CB as you're better known, and thank you for joining us from London. First of all, congratulations for the award. What were your first thoughts when you heard that you're getting the highest honor that the Indian government can give to an Indian living abroad, which in your case is the United Kingdom?
I was very humbled. It was a very unique award, and when I was informed, I thought maybe somebody is very kind, very generous. And when I went to Indore, I experienced the hospitality, the way it was organized. It was amazing. It is one of the best link between the India and the Indian diaspora. And people in UK and worldwide, those who know me, they are very happy and they thank the government and people concerned for doing that honor to me. Thank you very much.
What can you tell us about your journey from India to the UK? From your origins in the Indian state of Gujarat, you initially went to Tanzania and then later moved to the United Kingdom. Why did you first go to Africa and then to the UK?
Look, migration is a whole process going on for ages. In India, I had 3 successive failures. I wanted to do medicine. I could have joined the college, but money was the problem. Then I prepared for my army career. I had a brilliant NCC career, under officer and many more things. I was invited to Bangalore in early '59 for interview at the Service Selection Board. Everybody thought I would be selected, but I was not at the interview. And then I started preparing for IPS exam from Baroda. I thought I was reasonably capable to pass. But when I went from Baroda to Mumbai by train, the train came back from Bharuch because of the flood in the river. So after these successive failures, I thought I should go abroad. And my wife was born in Tanzania. I could go to Tanzania. I reached there in the middle of May 1960. But I realized it was a bit late because by that time people were leaving Africa. But I took up a job in the civil service, started learning Latin, preparing for my LLB, London University external student, and also joined the Lincoln's Inn. Fortunately, I passed some exam. I came to England to do my law studies. By that, I had a British passport in Tanzania. So things went very smoothly. Of course, there were few difficulties, challenges, but I think providence is more important than prudence in my case. So I went from Africa to London. And again, like anybody else going to any country, you have to face challenges. You are also big. There is an element of luck, but not total luck. I don't believe in astrology or horoscope. Karma is my... One thing I learned from the Chinese here, sir, Karma Yoga is the best yoga. And I genuinely believe my parents, my teachers, my gurus, they instilled me the value of Karma Yoga. So I kept on doing work. I maintained ethics. I can say that I've never done anything illegal. I don't think I ever done. No criminal record. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that.
We're glad to know that. We're glad to know that.
I drew a line around me. One thing, there are no targets. No such deadlines, I must achieve this or I must do this. I believe, sir, कहे जा, काम किए जा, फल मिलेगा. So it went on one to one. And in a way, when I look back, I'm only 87 years running. I'm not very old. And I feel very privileged that in this country, in England, India is my Janmabhoomi. UK is my Karmabhoomi. Both countries have given me so much. I'll be very frank. 51% I owe to this country, but 49% to India also. One day, Channel 4 asked me an interview many years ago, about 30 years ago, because they knew my some army training. And they said that suppose if there's war between UK and India, which side you will fight? I said, first of all, there is no chance of war. UK and India are partners.
Okay.
They're partners for progress and permanent partners. But if at all there's a war, I think Britain supports underdog. So I should support India. It was a bit cheeky, but it is true.
Yes.
My job is to be a bridge between this country, UK, and India. And if I may say, broadly speaking, diaspora. Look, I've seen a lot of change since I left India in May 1960. We are a very ancient civilization. We have got unique values. Indians everywhere, not only UK, they're respected for 4 or 5 things. In UK, there are about 2 million people of Indian origin.
Yes.
To ask any Englishman now, I think they not only accept us, but they respect us. There is no question. We are trying to integrate also. And I think this country has given us the best thing to educate, professionals in entrepreneurship, business, philanthropy. And what I may say, Indians are least in numbers in criminal activity. So that's everywhere in the world over. Australia to America, anywhere, Indians are most welcome. And that is our good fortune.
Okay. Now, you've been given the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award for your contributions in the field of media. You've been running the Gujarat Samachar and the Asian Voice for decades in the UK. Tell us about, how that happened and what has been the experience of running publications for the Indian diaspora in a foreign land.
Well, it is true. I didn't set out from the beginning to go to media or go for that. But a stage came. It's a personal incident. My father was a sannyasi. He took sannyas when I was settled in East Africa with a good job. And we tried to meet him, but he wanted to be away from family. He was an amazing sannyas. His guru was from Bhubaneswar, a Bengali guru. I'm told I was not allowed to meet him. But I had to pay some money for his maintenance regularly in those days by banker's orders. And after 13 years, when I was in India in 1973, by chance we knew that he was on the river bank of Narmada. So the holy place called Chanod and Karnari. And it's a personal story, but it has made tremendous change in my life.
Okay.
So by chance we met. We went there without informing him. He was very angry. But when he saw my son, he was narrowed. In every culture, grandchildren are more lovely for the parents than the children. He offered me a coffee. Then he took me to the riverside. And I remember the place. And he asked me a simple question. साधु बना है तो हिंदी बोलना है. वो हिंदी में बात करते थे. तो क्या करते? तो मैंने बताया कि इतने प्रॉस्पेरिटी है. थोड़ी सेवा भी की थी. We gave about 5,000 pounds in June 73 for a charity education. So he was very angry. He said, look, don't talk about your wealth. I'm not interested. When people make so much money, they do so many illegal things also.
Right.
I said, no, I don't do any illegal. He said, have you paid total tax on every income? I said, no. I had to tell the truth. because in retail shops we used to take some money off. He said, that's it. But anyway, you have made the money. What do you want to do? You can have more shops, more properties, more wealth. Akshar Jnan karo. Funny thing, he was not well educated, but he was very well informed. He was well read.
Right.
And then he said, I don't know anything about Akshar Jnan. He said, kuch chapao. I have some printed word. Printed word will help people to change their lifestyle, hope, confidence. So that was the beginning. But for 2-3 years I was confused. In a way, I could see that Sanchari Sadhu, my father, gave me correct advice. But then again, you can't just change it right there. So I went for a retreat for 3 days at Theosophical Lodge in Camberley, very near to where I live in London now. And I did a Chintan Sabha, Chintan Patak. And I realized. So I was thinking, but then Gujarat Samachar was in some difficulty by the previous owners. But the pedigree was great. It was launched by a eminent diplomat of India, Appa Sahib Pant, whom I knew about him. His father gave up the Aund Rajya to Praja Mandal in 1924. He was a tremendous man, diplomat, saint, and he launched Gujarat Samachar, and I was offered to buy. And we bought it. It was very strange or a foolish decision. But then when angels tread carefully, fools jump. So I jumped with help from so many, my family, my friends, my staff, my readers. We are very successful, and thank you very much, Bhaiya. Gautamji, when I look back, I will be very frank. I have received a lot more than I deserve, and a lot more than I ever expected.
That's humble. That's humble of you to say so. But you're a person who's changed a lot of hats in life as well. You mentioned civil service in Tanzania. You studied law as well, dental real estate, and then became a media mogul. All in lands far away from home, as we might say, sitting in Delhi. Now, how did you manage to sail in so many boats and yet emerge as a person who's been honored by the country of his origin?
Well, look, first of all, my head is the same thing. Pravanita, hard work, loyalty to India and loyalty to UK, etc. Seva is my word. I believe that one thing leads to another. And when I look back, I think my law study, my law education helped me, both in business and in media. But I got no answer to give you. It was not a grand plan that do this or that. But what can I say? I won't say it was just mere chance. But the blessings, the help from so many. I tell you, I know people, I have traveled to many countries, and I'm proud of being an Indian origin person.
Great.
I may say so. There is so much I've gained, and so much I owe to people. So I will try to give as much as I can, as long as I can.
Now, how is it that you ultimately settled down in the UK? There must have been a different perception of that country among Indians at that time, as it subjugated our country, India, for nearly a century and dominated it for almost twice as long. But did you see it as a land of opportunities?
When a person migrates and go to other countries, the initial intention is to go back, either after education or making money. But when you settle down, have children, then your grandchildren's home becomes your home. I think people should remember that once you have grandchildren growing up, then you want to be nearer to them, you want to be loved, and you want to love them. So I go to India, not as frequently as I used to go.
Okay.
But to me, India is the place I always enjoy. But UK is my children, my grandchildren, my friends, my activity. So I divide my time between the two countries, if I may say so.
All right. Well, you're a well-established Briton now. There is still a furious debate on in the country on immigration. The Home Secretary is of Indian origin, but she's a strong advocate of checking the tide of legal and illegal immigrants trying to enter and settle in the UK. Now, what are your views on this subject?
I'll answer this way. whether the Prime Minister or Home Secretary or Foreign Secretary, whether they're from India or other countries, they are British. And I believe that both the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary and others, they are loyal to this country. Now, first of all, when people describe our Home Secretary, my British, as the anti-immigrant, that is not true. She's only not very supportive of illegal immigration.
Yes.
And this migration by boats, it's if I may say, based on criminal aspect. So I think people should not worry too much.
Okay.
Because he knows that there is in England, Britain require, like many Germany and Britain, they require skilled manpower. They are welcome. India is sending a lot of things, but no, it is oversimple. To me, Sue, and I happen to know her, her parents also, we had dinner together a few months ago. No, this is the wrong person. She is a very honorable lady.
Okay. Now, I came across several references of how you've used your publications and other resources over the years to advocate for the causes of the Indian community in the UK. What can you tell us about them in the context of which are the most formidable challenges facing the Indian community there now?
If you are in the print media, in a way you got influence. I won't say editors and journalists are powerful people, but they got influence. So my principle from day one, when I took over Gujarat Samachar, right in April 76, the first campaign was against emergency in India.
Okay.
We thought it was wrong. And for 3 months I was barred from India House to visit. It was different thing. Then there was a racial tension here. A young man was murdered in Southall. Then Fiji came. Whenever there's a problem, I don't want invitation. I tell my people also, if there's any problem, rush. Our job is to help people. And we can't solve all the problem.
Right.
But we must try to do it properly, systematically. So the biggest campaign we had was for Hare Krishna Temple. ISKCON is a very unique organization, multiracial, multicultural. It's a very much based on the Vedic principle by a holy man. And the temple near Watford was doing very well. It was started in 68 or 69. And I used to know Prabhupada. I was privileged to meet him twice. And eventually the people, and I don't blame people, but the neighborhood people, villagers, they were annoyed by so many people coming for Janmashtami and Deepotsava and Krishna Jayanti. And our Indians also, to be honest, we are noisy people. And we are not well known for our cleanliness. So there was legitimate thing. But there were ways, but they campaigned for shutting down the temple. And with my legal training, I thought that was wrong. I had to understand their problem. I went to every villager's house and talked to them. There were about 300 houses, except 7, they were all Goras. But the Europeans also are much better than Indians, if I may say. They also, if you talk, they talk. But then eventually, the temple people went up to the European Court of Human Justice.
Okay.
And they lost the case. So a date was announced that the temple has to shut down. I said, that is not right. And we campaigned. I went all over the country. I got a lot of support from the sadhu, sannyasis of the temple, the patron committee, young people, Pandav Sena, we got so many different things. We went with lanterns in the afternoon around London Parliament looking for the silver coin of justice. We fasted in the winter, but eventually we had to organize the big march on 14th of March 1994. 36,000 people joined from central London near Holborn, near Lincoln's Inn where I was studying, to the Parliament. And the people realized. And I must say, the British people have got tremendous sense of correction. They are called self-corrective mechanism. And eventually the government, central government and the local authority, which stopped, they also invited us. We had to go through process. But I must say, the temple is now, we had 17 acres of land when the campaign started. Now the temple in Watford is 73 acres.
Great.
And people around are very happy. They are doing yoga, organic things. Look, we Hindus, we Sanatanis, whether they are Sikh or whatever, we believe in working together. So that was the biggest campaign. And I realized it was a lot of hard work for about 3 years. But the second campaign where we were successful, and I must mention, India needs the link with the overseas Indians. The 32 million Indians abroad are not only worth $100 billion family remittance, but they are long-term investment. They love India. I know my grandchildren. My son is married to an English girl, but my children and grandchildren know that our roots come from India. But I told them, be loyal to this country, but don't forget your ancestry.
Great. Tell us.
Was a problem because in 1996 I realized, Gautamji, that when people travel to India, they travel for many things, for heritage, for some religious cause, medical treatment, and many more things. But people who are older, and people who are 60 plus or having problem of walking or severe blood pressure, transit flight is a very stressful. Whether in Mumbai or Delhi or any country. So we did some work. We worked with travel agents. We prepared. One thing as a lawyer training, I prepared dossiers, notes. I don't just shout. So we went to people. We told to the Bajpayee government in 2002 or 2001, I paid a memorandum that look, there's a burning problem. People with children, businessmen, old people, disabled. Can't we have direct flight between Heathrow and Ahmedabad? And I must say, there was a gentleman called Rudy, civil aviation. Atalji was very helpful, Advani also. Narendra Bhai, of course, Chief Minister of Gujarat, has always been very kind to us. So they started the flight.
Great.
They told me that there is no passengers in business class, will stop the flight. But Gujaratis and people who go to Gujarat, they work hard, they make money, and they spend money like that.
Great. Sigir bhai, we're running out of time. Just wanted to ask you, before we let you go, tell us the experience of attending the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention in Indore. I'm sure that you keep coming to India. You mentioned that your trips are not as frequent now, but you still keep coming to India. So what were your impressions this time around when you recently visited the country, if you contrast it with the way things used to be decades ago?
Well, as I understand, when I went to Indore, and I knew Indore before, so when I was in India, I visited. Indore is an amazing place, but the hospitality. And I came back very charged. I thought my mission is not over. In every possible way, I'll try to serve my readers, my community in this country. And in every way possible, I'll see that the bond between India and overseas Indians will become strong. We remain assets to both India and to UK. So I am honored to answer your questions. If I answered properly, I'm happy. If I'm wrong, please forgive me.
No problem. Now, finally, what do you think this honor that you and a select few others have got now because of the things that they've done, as Indian diaspora, what sort of a message do you think this sends out to the larger 32 million strong Indian diaspora as well, that this honor would mean something to all of them as well?
Well, I'll put it this way, as I understand. The diaspora will keep on increasing in numbers. It is a dignified diaspora. It is very important that Indian government also nurtures the diaspora. Our children and grandchildren, others should be told the benefit of Indian connection, Indian heritage.
Yes.
Of course, Yoga Day and other things. But to summarize, I'm grateful to you, and the best is yet to come.
Great.
For India and overseas Indians.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. C.V. Patel, and talking about the award that you got and the kind of life you've been leading in the UK, which has, of course, put you in the position to be among those members of the Indian diaspora who've been honored with the best award that the Indian government can give to an overseas Indian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Britain.
And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of Diaspora Diamonds. But for all the latest, keep watching DD India.